Oi, lads. Naomi, Pillar of Order. 5 mana 4/4. When it enters the battlefield or attacks, if you control an artifact and an enchantment, create a token. I sleep. Okay, this guy's a bit of a banger. I have been spoiled on the text of this card, therefore I cannot give you a genuine reaction, but I will pretend that I'll give you a genuine reaction. Just for the content. Lion Sash. 1 white. Artifact creature, equipment cat. White. Exile target card from a graveyard. If it was a permanent card, put a +1/+1 counter on Lion Sash. Equipped creature gets +1/+1 for each +1/+1 counter on Lion Sash. Reconfigure 2. Whoa! Dude, this card's sick, mate. So many things going on this card. It's a 2 mana 1/1, so it's a little bit smaller than a Scavenging Ooze, but it's quite similar to a Scavenging Ooze, right? And Scavenging Ooze comes in as a 2/2. You can grow. This can only target, well, it can exile anything, but you have to target a permanent to get your counter, which is actually, in some instances, a little bit harder than to target a creature to get your counter. But on the flip side, Ooze does not have Reconfigure 2, and Reconfigure seems pretty good. Hopefully you enjoyed my review. This also dies to Spikefield, right? It can die to Spikefield, yeah, but you might have mana to grow it, right? Wow, I think the streamer is genuinely surprised with how good this card is. Yeah, I think it's good. It's not as good as Ooze, but not many creatures are as good as Ooze. It is good though. I'm a little bit concerned about playing this and then like a 3-drop and losing them both to 1 Prismari Command. But other than that, I think you misunderstand CROKEYZ. It exiles anything, it grows on permanence, which is better than Ooze. I think you misunderstand. That is exactly what I said, but how do I misunderstand? I can read the card. It's different to Ooze. How is it better than Ooze? Ooze grows on creatures, this grows on permanence, but this is a 1/1. It's a 1/1, man. Coming in as a 1/1 is significantly different to coming in as a 2/2. It's better than Ooze because it's not green. That's not very fair. Just as my mood was turning to a more happy mood. Honestly, this is one of my pet hates, is making a joke or making a pun and capitalizing the joke part, you know? As if the rest of the human species is too dumb to understand your joke. Like, I absolutely fucking hate that. Let me make a joke, but let me capitalize the entire joke because I think you're a moron. It's one of my pet hates, guys. It's maybe an irrational hate, but it's a hate. Wouldn't be me, Elder. You do it all the fucking time, man. You done it like 2 days ago. In Discord, I was gonna respond to you saying, "Why the hell are you doing this?" But I let it lie. I let it stick. You did it like 2 days ago, man. And I'm still mad about it. That's how you know. He remembers the exact time, place, and joke. I do. I'm telling you that genuinely angers me. It really annoys me. Don't capitalize your jokes, guys. People will understand them anyway. Bamboo Grove Archer. 1G Snake Archer. 2 mana 3/3 Defender Reach with Channel. Discard, destroy creature with flying. 2 mana 3/3 Defender Reach. Kinda close to being good though. Not too far off. Tempered in Solitude. Whenever a creature you control attacks alone, exile the top card of your library. You may play that card this turn. Ew. Gasoline? I don't know, man. Not the worst card in the world. I like that it costs 2. Normally these card draw red cards, like the red enchantment card draw cards, or card advantage cards at least, they normally cost 3, right? And they're normally a little bit better than this because they cost 3, but just the fact that they cost 3 makes them kind of unplayable. So at 2, I'm kind of interested. Banishing Slash. White sorcery. Destroy an artifact, enchantment, or tapped creature. If you control an artifact and an enchantment, create a token with vigilance. That's pretty good, no? That seems very good. So if you're playing it on turn 2, it's just a removal spell. If you're playing it after turn 2, then you're playing an artifact and enchantment deck, so you might get a token. I mean, I don't really understand why you would play an artifact and enchantment deck instead of an artifact deck or an enchantment deck, but if you are, you're going to want this, I would assume. Armguard Familiar. 2 mana 2/1 Equipment Beast. Ward 2. Ward 2 on a 2-drop, what the hell? Equipped creature gets +2/+1 and has Ward 2. Reconfigure 4. Why'd you have to ruin the card by giving it 4 mana to reconfigure? How about reconfigure 1? And then we've got a card we can play. I sleep on reconfigure 4. Nashe Moonsage's Scion. 1 BB. Rat Ninja. 4 ninjutsu. When it deals combat damage to a player, exile the top card of each player's library. Until end of turn, you may play one of those cards. If you cast a spell this way, pay life equal to its mana value rather than its mana cost. Okay. Terrible. Gas. Absolutely horrible. Again, the fact that you can only play the card on that turn just ruins the card. Moon Circuit Hacker. 1 blue creature, human ninja, ninjutsu blue. Ninjutsu for 1. 2 mana 2/1. When it deals combat damage to a player, you may draw a card. If you do, discard a card unless it entered the battlefield this turn. This shit again, mate. Sorry. Sorry, children. Sorry to ruin on your parade. Playable. It's certainly playable, yeah. Your opponent's just gonna kill you, though. Moon Circuit Hacker. This thing's terrible. Awakened Awareness. X blue for an aura. Enchant artifact or creature. When it enters the battlefield, put X counters on enchanted permanent. As long as enchanted permanent is a creature, it has base power and toughness 1/1. Okay, that's really bad. Prodigy's Prototype. Whenever one or more vehicles you control attack, create a 1/1 colorless pilot creature token with this creature cures vehicles as though its power were 2 or greater. 3 mana 3/4 vehicle. If it attacks, you make a pleb. Crew 2. I sleep. This card's a horse. It's not as shit. It's an Adeline with, but you have summoning sickness on creating a token. Again, I apologise to one and all, but nope. Historian's Wisdom. 2G. When it enters the battlefield, if enchanted permanent is a creature with the greatest power among creatures on the battlefield, draw a card. Guardians of Oboro. 2 and a blue for a Moonfolk Samurai. 3/4 Defender. Modified creatures you control can attack as though they didn't have Defender. Will there ever be a Magic the Gathering set without cards for Defender Tribal? The answer is no. Despite that, will there ever be a Defender Tribal deck? The answer is no. Sunblade Samurai. 5 mana enchantment creature, human samurai with vigilance. Channel 2. Discard, search your library for a plains, reveal it, put it into your hand, shuffle, gain 2. So this is environmental sciences, huh? But you get to have an enchantment creature in your graveyard. Does any deck care about having enchantment creatures in the graveyard? Maybe. And it takes a slot in your deck. I don't think you're playing this to actually cast the creature, but if you're playing an enchantment tribal that uses the graveyard in some way, you might consider this thing. Maybe you're playing a card that brings all enchantments back or something like that. Then I think this could be good. But you're not playing it to play a 5 mana 4/4 Vigilance, obviously. Interesting card, by the way. Easy to underrate this, I would say. Heiko Yamazaki the General. 3 red for a human samurai with trample. 3/3. So samurai or warrior attack alone thing again, huh? You may cast artifact card from graveyard. I'm not seeing it, chat. I know you can do some stuff with this in Disneyland, but how do, like, it's 4 mana, dude. How do you get the creature into play? How do you... It's 4 mana. It's a cool card, though. But 4 mana Emery just seems pretty bad to me. I like that my Emery costs 1, you know? Black Lotus into this? Maybe. I mean, I can buy that. I can buy that as a strategy. This plus Black Lotus. That's when you know you're really scraping the bottom of the barrel for ways to use it. Circuit Mender. 3 mana artifact creature. When it enters the battlefield, gain 2. When it leaves, draw. That's a sleep. Ryu. Storm's Edge. 4 mana. 3/3. First strike. If it attacks alone, untap. If it's the first combat phase, there's an additional combat phase. This is a skipper, right? Easy skipper. Seems absolutely terrible. Scuffed double strike, kind of. Go-Shintai of Ancient Wars. 3 mana Shrine. Shrine creature. First strike 2/2. At the beginning of your end step, you may pay 1. When you do, deal X damage to player or planeswalker, where X is the number of shrines you control. I say Shrine, I sleep, honestly. Generous Visitor, 1 mana 1/1. Spirit. Whenever you cast an enchantment, put a counter on any creature. Okay, this guy is gas. It's not even itself that grows, so you can target other stuff. Okay. I'm no longer sleeping. 1 second. Be right back. I've got 2 statements to make about this card. Statement 1. This card is insanely good. Statement 2. This card is unplayable. Nice. Both of those statements are true. You can't play cards like this, man. You can never play them. They are bad take. It's not a bad take. There is no space in your deck to play this card. You've got a 60 card deck. Let's say you're playing 25 lands. You've got 35 playable cards to play. To justify playing this card, you need to be playing an enchantment heavy deck. So you're playing, of those 35 cards, you need to fill your deck with a lot of enchantments. You'll then need other enchantment payoff cards to justify playing an enchantment tribal deck. And you need removal. There's no space left in your deck to play this. It's a bomb of a creature, but it's unplayable. There's simply no space in the deck to have it. Satsuki the Living Lore. Green-white, legendary creature, human druid. Saga Tribal? Saga Tribal card? What? Put a lore counter on each saga. When it dies, choose 1. That's kind of weird. Saga Tribal. You don't really want to put lore counters on your sagas, do you? Oh, I guess it would give you the activation, right? It would give you the thing? Okay, so I guess you don't mind then, huh? Is this another great card that's unplayable? Seems like it. I mean, how the hell do you fill a deck with sagas, guys? Is that possible? Walking Skyscraper. 1 less to cast for each modified creature you control. Has hexproof as long as it's untapped, trample. Okay, so this is like, what? Insane if you can cast it for 3. And pretty terrible if you cast it for 4. It seems extremely hard to cast it for 3 though. Like extremely, extremely hard. 4 mana 8/8 trample is bad? Yeah, pretty much. I would say 4 mana 8/8 trample sucks. Actual shell payoff. Equipment, auras, and counters. There's no way this is good. How do you make it good? You need to play a ton of creatures. You need most, if not all of your creatures to be coming into the battlefield just modified immediately. And on top of that, you need a lot of ways to like modify your entire board. Catilda? What do you mean Catilda? Did you have to get a Catilda activation off? You can't rely on that. Clarion Spirit and Shale. The only way this is good is if you have 5 modified creatures in play. Man, if you've got 5 creatures with counters on them, just attack the opponent, right? What do you need your 8/8 trampler for? This thing is completely dog shit. This is stupidly powerful. Just get a wide board with some +1/+1 tokens. Yeah, just do that. Just get a whiteboard. Like, you know, easy. So, Magic is an easy game. Just have a whiteboard with tokens on it. Simple. Otawara, Soaring City. Legendary land. Channel 4. Return artifact, creature, enchantment, or planeswalker to its owner's hand. Not bad at all. Still like, so that's all. We've seen all 5 of them now. I'm still not buying that you would play more than 1 copy of any of them in any deck. They're all easy one-offs in pretty much every deck, probably every deck, but I can't see a world where you would play more than 1 copy of any of them. So yeah, just play exactly 1 of these in every deck, and you're chilling. 2 mana, 1/2 flying human ninja. Skipper. Here he is, chat. Mechtitan Exodia. I've also seen this card. 2 mana, 2/4, crew 2. For 5, you can exile this, 4 other artifact creatures and or vehicles you control, and you get to create Mechtitan, a legendary 10/10 construct artifact creature token with flying, vigilance, trample, lifelink, and haste that's all colours. And then when that token leaves the battlefield, you can return all cards exiled with Mechtitan Core, except Mechtitan Core, to the battlefield tapped under their owner's control. Do you know what, chat? Honestly, I hate this card. I hate this card. I hate all cards like this for only one real reason. And it's because day 1 of the new set, there's going to be a ton of people in my chat going, "Can you play a Mechtitan Core deck? That'll be fun. That'll be really fun. I can't wait to watch you lose 20 games in a row just so that the one time that you get your Mechtitan Core set up and ready to pop, your opponent immediately concedes before you even get to make the token. Woohoo! That'll be a fun time. Please do that. Doesn't matter that there's 100 other Magic streams and all 100 of them are also doing that. I want you to do it too. Come on, woo! No, fuck off. If you could guarantee me that my opponent wouldn't concede when I actually got to do Exodia, I would play it. But your opponent's just going to concede once you Exodia. You won't even get to attack where you're dead. It's actually just, it's perennial blue balls. You can exile blood and or clue tokens. This is really nice. No, you can't. Absolutely rolled. Just completely rolled. What can I say? Born to Drive. 3 mana aura. As long as enchanted permanent is a creature, it gets +1/+1 for each creature and or vehicle you control. Channel 3. Create 2 tokens. Uncounterable 3 mana, make 2 tokens. That is not good, but man, it's not far off being good. Instant speed, uncounterable. If you could give me a 3rd token, and then, you know what, Wizards? I would advertise this card on my stream. But until you give me a 3rd token, I ain't interested. Shark Typhoon. I mean, it's not quite as good as Shark Typhoon, is it? Invoke Justice. Something I will be doing in this stream from now on. I'm fed up of the attitudes of some of you guys, you know? The negativity, the freaking... For some reason you guys think you have I think you've got a certificate that says, I can just say whatever the hell I want. No. Absolutely not. I will be invoking justice. Feck the Mr. Streamer. Come on, man. Immediately after I say I will invoke justice, you test me, huh? Immediate test? Okay. Let's see if I pass. Where are you, you little fucker? I've lost them. Alright. Honestly, you got lucky this time. I can't find you. I think you might already have been banned, to be honest. Because your message has disappeared. Fable of the Mirror Breaker. 3 mana saga. Stage 1. Create a 2/2 token with whenever this creature attacks, create a treasure. Okay. So you get a 3 mana Magda. Then You may discard up to 2 cards. If you do, draw that many. Okay. Then, you get a 2/2. Gasoline, you do get 2 creatures eventually for your 1 card, which is pretty good. Stage 2 is just fucking, like, so bad though. Come on, it's kinda good. This card is, in no way is this card terrible, but you get a 3 mana 2/2, you ramp to 5. I don't know, like, the card is okay, but are you really gonna put it in your deck? I don't know, man. It's not a shit card, but are you gonna put it in your deck? I don't know. I doubt it. Tribute to Hirobi. Each opponent creates a 1/1 token. What? Flying Haste. When it enters the battlefield, gain control of all rat tokens. Whenever it attacks, you may sack another creature. If you do, draw a card. Wow. This thing is, like, insane. What? Actual trash? What are you on about, actual trash? This thing's crazy. Sack card equals CROKEYZ loves it. Come on. How is this thing not good? It's 2 mana. You're getting 5/5 worth of stats. 3/3 out of them are flying and haste. You're getting 3 sack outlets. It's fucking 2 mana, dude. Guys, you're insane. This is absolutely amazing, this card. Definitely a horse, yeah. They can deadly dispute the token. Dude, who the fuck cares they can deadly dispute the token? If they're playing deadly dispute, they have stuff to sack anyway. So then you're gonna get you get 4/4 worth of stats for your 2 mana instead of 5. Wow. Odd. If only we didn't give them a 1/1 token, then they would have had nothing to do with their dispute. What a shame that we turned on their draw spell for them. This card is absolutely crazy. Trash unplayable. Okay. Okay, chat. Let's play a game. My analysis is, this is one of the best cards in the set. I don't know what the game is going to be. I just think there's no bet that we can make where it's not unfair to me. Because you guys won't pay up. I love to see Crookboy excited about a card, especially when chat hates it. I don't understand how you can hate this card. How? How can you hate this card? It's absolutely crazy. What deck plays this? Dude, I would play this in the Orzhov deck for sure. I would play this in, I mean, I don't know. What other decks play black cards right now? Pretty much any deck that plays black cards, I would play this. I want you to know, chat, that if you think this card's bad, I consider you to be an unintelligent swine. And you're just going to have to live with it. A swine of the highest order. I mean, you probably take 3 damage waiting for this, but 2 mana 3/3 flying and it has haste unlike most of the sagas. Potential card draw, and the rates are rogues, so the ninja... The rats are rogues. Unlike a lot of the sagas, this at least has a chance. Connor, an extremely medium opinion. It doesn't have a chance, bruv. It's absolutely bonkers. But at least you're not a dumbass like my chat. You're welcome here, Connor. Hope to see you here tomorrow, my friend. You've got a lot to learn, but at least you're starting from a position of intelligence. These comments are high as shit. This is one of the worst rares ever printed. One of the worst rares ever printed. Really. I think Evan only read stage 1 and 2. They forgot about stage 3 here. Dr. Yue, you know it, man. People will happily pay the student cost for Baleful Mastery, but they won't temporarily give their opponent a 1/1 rat. That's how terrified the average Magic the Gathering player is of a creature. You know? They'll play blue-white control with 12 board clears and absolutely nothing for any mirrors in their deck. Because they think one creature is just the end of the world. Like, every creature has to die immediately. Even if you're If eventually you get a 2 mana 5/5 with 3 sack outlets and a little bit of haste damage, no. I'm not giving my opponent a 1/1 token. That 1/1 token, what if my opponent puts a Colossification on it, you know, and then attacks me for 21? I'll lose. But I can't give my opponent a creature. Are you fucking crazy? No way. If I see a 1/1 rat token on my opponent's side of the board, Wrath of God. I cast Wrath. I do not want to get attacked for one. Wrath. 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 Doomscar. It will be very interesting, a very interesting game if you play a mirror where both players play this, huh? So it's a lot better to play this second, right? If that's the case, if your opponent's also playing it. First one wins. Oh yeah, actually first you get to sack one of the tokens, huh? Very interesting. Nah, no, I still think it's better to go second though. Because you only get to sack one. Your opponent will get 3 rats. The person who goes second, the person who plays it first will get to sack 1 rat and draw. But the person that plays it second will end up with 3 tokens. So it's actually better to play it second. But, again, in a mirror, you'll probably be playing like cards like Deadly Dispute and stuff, so it might actually still be better to play it first. Very interesting. Guys, this card will be a 4 of in the very first deck we play. There's no way this is not the first card I use. I don't know what the other cards in our deck will be. This thing is absolutely broken. Like, insane. I don't know how to say this word. I know that it's a popular Magic the Gathering word, therefore I refuse to mispronounce it. I will not be saying it. This thing consumes all. I don't know how to pronounce it. I'm not willing to get it wrong. I told you about my first pet hate earlier in the day, huh? My first pet hate is don't capitalize your jokes. My second pet hate is trying to teach someone how to pronounce something and just typing the fucking word out. If I knew how to, if that was going to help, I could just read the goddamn card. You've just fucking you just typed the word out. How does that help? How on earth is that supposed to help me? Just pronounce it like it's supposed to be pronounced. Okay, good. Very cool. Alright, 3 mana. Stage 1, destroy each non-land permanent with mana value 1 or less. Stage 2, exile all graveyards. Stage 3, you get a Trampler for 3/3 Trampler. When it deals damage, add a counter. If it deals 10, you win. Kinda bad, huh? Honestly, kinda bad. Best card in the set? I don't know, dude. I don't think there's going to be too many decks. In fact, it will probably be 0. If you might hit some sort of miracle where there's 1. Stage 1 and 2 just simply don't really work too well together, in my opinion. Good against Golgari Food. It's not terrible, it's okay, but Exile it doesn't do anything against Golgari Food, man. Again, like that's a situation where Stage 1 is good and Stage 2 is whatever. It's very difficult to find an opponent where both Stage 1 and 2 are good. Good against 1 CMC creatures in graveyards. It's good against Grixis Death Shadow. But I'm not actually even convinced it's that good against Cat Oven. Honestly, Cat Oven decks don't care about graveyard getting exiled. Adventure cards from Eldraine were shit, so surely these sagas are shit as well. I think these sagas that give creatures can be really good, but they're... I don't see how this one's really good, man. It's great versus Dragon Rage Channeler decks. If you're playing a format where your opponent's got Dragon's Rage Channeler in their deck, then this card is extremely expensive in that format, right? Whatever format it is. I don't know, dude. I'm not buying it. It's not absolutely horrible, but I think in the vast majority of your games, either Stage 1 or Stage 2 or both will be useless. That makes the card just bad. Brilliant Restoration. Return all artifact and enchantment cards from your graveyard to the battlefield. Yeah, I mean, it's very hard to make a saga work when like Stage 1 and 2 are both like reactive effects, huh? So I'm just not buying it, man. It makes the range of games where it's bad too high. Even if those 2 reactive effects are both really good, which they are, I think the card will still be bad. Return all artifact and enchantment cards from your graveyard to the battlefield. 7 mana sorcery speed. Well, there's your justification for that channel guy, huh? Does returning artifacts and enchantments from graveyard to battlefield... Does the game end? Do you instantly win? Just play Dance of the... I don't think Dance of the Manse is in Standard. Or Alchemy. It's rotated, right, by now? Surely, dude. That card's like mega old. I've got no idea what set it's in. But... It was in Eldraine? Alright. Actually very strong card, but from Eldraine, so... Comparatively dog shit. I don't know, guys. This thing could be decent. As long as, like... As long as when you cast it, because, I mean, it's the same price as Sultai Ultimatum, huh? So, Sultai Ultimatum didn't actually win the game when you used it, but it put your opponent in a position where they couldn't win, so it essentially did win you the game. So, this, it doesn't need to deal 100 damage when you bring your artifacts and enchantments back. It just needs to put your opponent in an unwinnable situation. If you can do that, then you can play the card. Gotta consider it, man. Reality Heist. 1 less to cast for each artifact you control. Look at the top 7 cards of your library. You may reveal up to 2 artifact cards from among them and put them into your hand. Put the rest in the bottom of your library in a random order. I mean, look at the top 7s, no joke, guys. This thing has to be good. There's simply no way this thing's bad. Just a solid card, right? More like the Thought Monitor deck, right? I don't think you'd play this in Fiddlebender, because Fiddlebender actually doesn't have that many artifacts in play at any one time, you know? You're sacking one and bringing another into play and kind of working your way up the ladder. I don't think you're casting this for 2 in a Fiddlebender deck very often, but you can cast this for 2 in a Thought Monitor deck for sure. But they are different decks though. I mean, this is a big reason to play like a full artifact deck in Standard, huh? I think you will play this. I don't know much about like the modern Affinity decks or whatever, but I mean, wouldn't they play this too? The Historic Affinity deck definitely will, and then it might be enough to make your Standard artifact deck good too. I don't know if like modern Affinity has better options than this, but Historic Affinity doesn't. The card's just gas, right? Just full gas. Norika Yamazaki the Poet. 3 mana 3/2 Vigilance. When it attacks alone, cast target enchantment card from graveyard this turn. The Restoration of Eiganjo. Search your library for a basic plains. Reveal it, put it into your hand, shuffle. Discard a card. Return target permanent card with mana value 2 or less from graveyard to battlefield tapped. Flip into a 3/4 Vigilance. When it attacks or blocks, create a 1/1. Okay, so this thing is just insane, right? What the fuck? That is so much card for a very reasonable amount of mana. You can ramp with this thing, huh? I don't know if you'd want to too often when you could just get a 2 mana thing in play, but you could discard a land, bring it back into play. But, I mean, it seems kinda pointless, right? But having it as an option is pretty cool. Not a believer? I mean, this thing's just crazy, dude. Bring back Tribute. What the hell is Tribute, sorry? I mean, this thing is just, like, definitely good, right? Because Stage 2 cannot brick. Really? The only way it can brick is if you have no lands in hand, no lands in graveyard, no cheap cards in graveyard, no cheap cards in hand, and that means what? Means your hand is filled with 4 drops and you can cast them all because you've got 4 lands? So it's fine. This is way better than Birth. I mean, it also costs 1 more mana, right? Which is... I mean, this is just a perfect card for Orzhov Control as well. Regardless, I mean, this thing is just a mega bomb in so many different decks. Mono, white, aggro, maybe not. But I mean, you've got to consider it even in mono, white, aggro, right? But for decks like... For white mid-range decks like Orzhov Control or whatever, this thing is just absolutely insane. Absolutely, you get so much for your 3 mana. A decent but not great creature. A land. And maybe some sort of recursion. It does buy back Aspirant and aggro. Yeah, but I'm not sure you need your 4th land in mono. I'm not sure you're willing to give up tempo to get a 4th land in aggro though. Like in mono white aggro. It's a little scuffed. But this card just like screams Orzhov or something like that, huh? Thing is crazy. Enormous Energy Blade. 3 mana equipment, +4/+0. When it becomes attached to a creature, tap that creature. What? You tap your guy that you equip? Okay, that might be the worst card in the set. Light the Way. +1/+1 counter on creature or vehicle untap, or return permanent to owner's hand. Meh. The Fall of Lord Konda. Exile target creature an opponent controls with mana value 4 or greater. Each player gains control of all permanents they own. And then you get a 1/3 draw a card. I sleep. This is, you know, just bad, right? Started out strong. Started out okay. Story Weave. 2G instant, put 2 counters on creature you control, or put 2 lore counters on saga you control. The next time 1 or more enchantment creatures enter the battlefield under your control this turn, each enters the battlefield with 2 additional counters on it. I mean, it's got a lot of words on it, but it really doesn't do anything, does it? Maybe if it costs like 1 mana, you know? This is actually a 1 mana card, but for some reason it costs 3. 2 counters for 1 mana? I think there could be a card that said... I think there could be a 1 mana card plus 2 counters with no other text. That wouldn't be crazy, in my opinion. There's Exodia again. You are already dead. Destroy target creature that was dealt damage this turn, draw a card. Wow, wow, wow. This thing has to be decent. But it's not going to be decent in every deck. It's dog shit? I don't know, dude. This thing is kind of a banger. Can you cast this if there's no creatures on the board? No. That's a little annoying. This has to be good, right? How can this be bad? It's good with first strike creatures. It's good with cards like Mayhem Devil. What else? It's okay with tokens, yeah. Again, like you will not be able to play this in every deck, but in the decks that you can use it, it's going to be like insanely good, right? It's a little bit harder to use it when attacking, but when blocking, it's basically give a creature death touch, draw a card, right? But better than that because you don't need to target your creature, so your opponent can't like respond by removing the creature. So it's actually even better than that. And when attacking, it can still be good too. I think it's gas. Bladebrand for 1. Yeah, Bladebrand costs 2, right? And this is like better than Bladebrand for 1. Not better by much, but definitely better. Tokens, Mayhem Devil. It's good with like, if you're playing like Shambling Ghast or Eye Twitch in your deck, you know? These type of cards. It's just another like, kind of banger Orzhov card. Maybe a good card in something like Rakdos if you can get a lot of first strikers in your deck somehow. It's just insane. Essence Capture is a good card, but it's a bit toxic, isn't it? Essence Capture. A little bit weird champ of card. Good Delver card though, yeah. You could translate the word toxic into fun for 1 player. Maybe Delver will be a deck. I mean, Delver is not too far off being a really strong deck, and now it's getting Spell Pierce and Essence Capture. Hey, not bad. Not bad at all. Cropium, dude, I think Delver is a couple of good counter spells away from being decent. Maybe a couple of good counter spells which they're getting, and maybe 1 other good creature. Even in standard, right? Inventive Iteration. 4 mana, stage 1, return creature or planeswalker to hand. Stage 2, return artifact from graveyard to hand if you can't draw. Stage 3, you get a 3/3 flyer. Whenever you cast a spell, your opponent can't cast spells of the same mana value as that spell until your next turn. So this thing is terrible. Fang of Shigeki. 1/1 Death Toucher enchantment creature. I don't know why enchantment... So you've already got this card without enchantment in standard. I'm not sure why an enchantment deck would want a Death Toucher, but maybe. Invoke Whirlwind. Gain control of artifact or creature untap. Big yoinkies. Pretty bad, huh? Isn't there already a 4-mana yoinker? Has to be good. Well, I think yoink effects are very underrated, but we already have a 4-mana one anyway. That's 3 CMC, this is any creature. Okay, and when was the last time one of your opponents played a creature that costs more than 3, for fuck's sake? That's not Liar or Hullbreaker Horror that this will never work against. All creatures cost 3 or less, mate. That's the game. Iteration plus this. I think this will see no play. Soul Transfer. 3 mana, double black sorcery, choose one. If you control both an artifact and an enchantment while casting this spell, you may choose both. Exile creature, return creature or planeswalker to hand. Seems like a nope. It's gotta be a nope. Prosperous Thief. 2 and a blue. For a 3/2, ninjutsu 2, whenever one or more ninjas or rogues deal combat damage, create a treasure token. Okay, this might be the first ninjutsu card that's actually decent. If you have a 1-drop, this is a Magda with haste, huh? But again, even then you need to you need your 1-drop to not get blocked. Okay, this is not the first decent ninjutsu card. The tally still sits at 0. I sleep. Anchor Reality, 2 blue sorcery, has additional cost to cast this card, sacrifice an artifact or a creature. It's decent. I mean, the card is kinda decent, yeah, but the rest of your deck's gonna suck. As an additional cost to cast this card, sack an artifact or a creature. 4 mana, sorcery, sack an artifact or creature. Okay. Search your library for an equipment or a vehicle, put it onto the battlefield, shuffle. If the mana value of that card is less than the mana value of the permanent sacrifice, scry 2. Seems extremely bad. Selfless Samurai. 2 mana 2/2. When it attacks alone, gain lifelink. Sack it. Choose target creature you control. It gains indestructible until end of turn. 2 mana 2/2 Doggo. I mean, Doggo was real good, but 2 mana Doggo? I don't know. Doggo is a lot worse as a 2-drop, yeah. Life gain? Yeah. I mean, lifelink is very good, but I mean, I guess if you're playing it in, even if you're playing it in a samurai or warrior tribal, you can give your other creatures lifelink too, but no way, man. Life gain, I sleep. Dude, lifelink is goated, honestly. This could be constructed playable. For sure. But it's nowhere near as good as Doggo Boy. Cropium? I don't know about Cropium, man. 2/2 lifelinker with Doggo effect. There's worse cards. There's definitely worse cards in this set that you guys think are good than this. Ecuador! Ecuador!